In this video, I'm going to tie a blue dun dry fly in size 14. I'm going to start with Adam's gray thread. Going to put it into my bobbin and use that little trick I taught you about air pressure. Once I get it started, now the thread started, I can start it about the halfway point. Dry flies are really light. You don't want a lot of thread buildup on this. You can work that back. And with your thread, you want to make a little bit of a ball right where the bend of the hook starts. And you can work your thread forward to the point of the hook. And for this fly, I'm mostly going to be using a dun hackle. It's supposed to be a blue hackle instead of a regular dun, but sometimes you can get away with lighter colors. That means it just molted into the actual fly, so that'd be a good time to fish with a spinner or a dun, as in the name. The lighter they are, the newer they are in the molt. I'm just taking these fibers and stroking them up to where you can see how there is some webbing right here, and you don't want any of those fibers with the webbing on it for your tails. You want really stiff tails. So I'm going to take a pinch of the fibers without the webbing in it, and I'm going to come in here and do a quick little measurement and tie those in with a loose wrap to start, and work that back and put in the extra that got pulled out, and holding them towards me so the wraps of the thread do not pull it away from me. Those feathers are nicely displayed. Do some nice tight wraps just to capture that down. Don't do too many. You don't want to build this fly up too much. And I'm going to take some muskrat dubbing, and I'm going to start with a very little amount right up close to the tail. I'm going to dub that on very tightly to help keep it nice and smooth. Then I'm going to slowly build it up. Now you can put it on a little bit looser. Not extremely loose, but a little bit looser to help build it up a little bit quicker. Now you got a good taper going. You can continue that taper forward. Here's some nice tight wraps in front. And for the wings, I'm going to take some natural flank feathers. And I'm going to stroke these flank feathers backwards. To give me a tie-in spot. And I'm going to take another flank feather, about the same size, and stroke some of these fibers backwards out of my way. And I'm going to face this one the other way. Use the natural curve of the feather to help displace them and pull it to the same length. Once you got some nice tight wraps, you can work that forward and cut your excess out. Some of the fibers got trapped underneath, so you're going to flip upside down and cut all these out without cutting your thread out. And now you can take your wings and tie under your wings to get them sticking straight up. Do some wraps around them to help hold them together. Now you can do some X wraps over them. Keep working around it. I can see I have a clump right here that's not quite with the clump of fibers. I'm just going to go in there and cut those out right now instead of having to deal with them later. And at this point, you can size a dun feather in a 14. Come in here on your hackle gauge. That's the first time I've actually grabbed the size that I needed right off the bat. I'm going to pull some of these fibers forward and pinch them off to get a nice tie-in spot. And cut out the excess. I can come in here and tie that down with a loose wrap and then pull it up so you have a nice gap. And now you can tie that in nice and tight and come in front of the wings and tie down the rest of it. Make sure that's nice and secure without capturing any other fibers. Now you have all that tied in. You can put some more dubbing on. These wings are a little bit long. That's okay, we're going to trim them down, make them actually look like wings. Right now they're kind of flat on top and you don't really want that. But I'm going to take some of this muskrat and I'm going to mix in a little bit of brown to give a different transaction. I'm just going to fold this over itself and pull it all apart. Just a little bit of brown. You don't want too much in there. I'm going to do one wrap in between the two feathers to help keep them separated. That's alright, that one's kind of folded down a little bit, but we're going to fix that right now. I'm going to do some nice tight wraps right in front of it and keep working that muskrat forward. Sometimes you got to pinch the end of it. Now you can come in with your hackle feather. Do a couple wraps with your hackle feather behind it, behind the wings, and stroke them backwards as you keep going forward. Now you got a couple wraps in front. You can capture that. And stroke everything backwards. Get some nice tight wraps wrapped in without trapping any of these fibers forward. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky. And you can come in and cut your excess hackle feather out. Once that's cut out, you can stroke everything backwards and do some nice tight wraps and build up a pretty large head. And come in with a whip finisher. And for dry flies, I usually whip finish it a couple times instead of putting nail polish on it. That'll help build that head up a little bit. I'll do one last one, a little two-turn real quick just to tie that off. Now that fly is really durable. It has a couple different whip finishes in it. I'm going to shut my light off so you guys can get a good view of this. And now I'm going to come in here and trim my wings. I have a couple fibers right here of my wings that aren't with the wings. So I'm going to come in here and carefully work my scissors down them and cut out just those feathers instead of cutting my hackle out. I have one brown fiber here that I don't want sticking out like that. So now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to trim these feathers to make them look like wings. And your wings you don't want longer than the body of your fly. I got another group here that is not attached to the main post of feather fibers. And now I have these wings at a point.